Hi, my name is Angie McCardy, and I'm one of the pastors here at Resurrection.
And I'm Robert Johnson, and I serve as the Leawood location pastor at Church of the Resurrection.
Welcome to Resurrection Stories, a podcast from Church of the Resurrection through which we hope to expose our congregation and the Kansas City area to some of the amazing people who make up our church. We want you to know them better by hearing their stories of hope, transformation, purpose, and service. As you listen to today's conversation, I invite you to share this podcast with others. You can do that by going to core.org/podcast. Now, let's welcome our guest for today's episode. Our guest today is Luke Nolkemper, a student who just graduated from high school. I cannot wait for you to hear his story of engagement and finding true community at Church of the Resurrection. His story is not without hardships, and he has come through in incredible ways. Let's get started. Luke, thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm excited for you and your future and everybody hearing your story. I had such a great time getting to know this guy, volunteering in student ministries this last year with 6th grade girls. Mm-hmm. Yeah, imagine that beauty.
It was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. And it was a great experience because you were there with them. So tell us about yourself. Tell us your history. How did you get to Resurrection? How long have you been here? Stuff like that.
So I just graduated high school. I'll be attending Missouri State University in the fall, majoring in nursing. Funny story, I grew up Catholic, and all my dad's side is Catholic, and I left the Catholic Church in 4th grade because I got like an interest in music. And so I realized that the Catholic Church didn't have the opportunities for me to expand upon my faith through music, because that's where I find a lot of my faith growth is in music. So I started coming to Resurrection in 4th grade, and my parents came with, and then I got heavily involved in like Wild Ones with the 5th grade kids. That was a lot too. And then pretty much every Wednesday from 6th grade to this year, I was at like student ministries nights. I attended every retreat I could, been on multiple mission trips, and it's been the best decision ever. I joined the church officially before my parents or anyone else in my family did. I did that in 8th grade right after confirmation. So yeah.
And I know, just because of our time together, that Luke has many talents.
I've heard that.
Just kind of things I would consider random that he would bust out with every once in a while. So just tell us some of your skills.
Like my most random, or like?
No, just all of your skills. Tell us everything.
Rock climbing. I love rock climbing. I work at a rock wall. I'm an instructor there. I work at a golf course. I love golfing. So basically any of my jobs, they all revolve around my interest. So I also do photography, and I love photography and videography. I make custom jewelry and silver pieces. I love metalsmithing. I find that as an outlet, especially in the winter when I can't go outside because I love hiking and I love everything outside. I just go to work and start making jewelry. I love being outside. Like, I'm always outside. I probably spend more time outside than I should, but it's all good. My mom's always like, "Are you coming and staying at the hotel tonight?" She calls our house the hotel because I'm rarely home. And yeah, I mean, I love animals. Last year I was able to work with Kansas Department of Wildlife and took care of hundreds of animals. I also acquired my scientific exhibition license, and so I could basically trap and catch and study any animals that were pertaining to my research that I was working on at the time.
And you are published,
yeah,
correct?
Yeah, for herpetofaunal biodiversity for Johnson County. So basically, salamanders, snakes, frogs, anything, you name it, lizards, like geckos, toads. Yeah, I studied those in a lightly disturbed Johnson County park. But yeah, it was really fun. I worked over 6 months, so it was really short term, just studying them. Just set out a bunch of boards in the woods and then went out and flipped them and then recorded what I found. And then I compiled all the research and then examined my findings and then completed the project. And then I also worked at a wildlife sanctuary where kids can come, and taught wetland ecology there, because I have a vast interest in water for some reason. It's definitely due to my dad, because he works in the water industry, but I just loved it there. I took care of ferrets, possums, raccoons, chinchillas, 23 snakes, an American alligator, tarantulas, geckos, all sorts of animals. Anything you can name is probably there that I've taken care of. And just a little warning, if someone ever asks you to take care of a rat breeding system, don't do it.
We should say no to that?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I was like the little grunt, so I got to be in charge of the rat system there, so.
Good to know. Might come in handy someday.
That's good information.
Yeah.
Probably my biggest life lesson from last year.
Okay. Everybody should take heart.
Oh, yeah.
With that.
I'm so fascinated. Like, how are you doing all these things? Like, where does that come from?
My indecisiveness and like my curiosity. Like, I'm the type of person that if I think of something, I need to know it and I need to be proficient in it. And so, like our 6th grade small group, they were talking about heart attacks. I cringe when someone says heart attacks. I'd rather use like acute myocardial infarction. And so
he tried to teach them that.
Yeah.
So I don't think that one stuck.
I don't think so. They were just like.
Yeah. So how did you teach them about this, Luke?
So we had a whiteboard in our room, thankfully, and I just drew a basic cardiovascular system on the whiteboard and explained blood flow and how like a heart attack happens. And what goes on with a heart attack, and then treatment options for that, because I have a really deep interest in emergency medicine care.
That comes from where?
Honestly, between like my medical experiences, like I've gotten in a severe bike crash, I've had heart surgery, all sorts of traumas to my body, but like, I don't know. It just like randomly came up because I wanted to be an engineer for the longest time because I love building things. And then like in 7th grade, I had my heart surgery and I got super invested in cardiology. And so from there, I was like, okay, medicine. And so I really wanted to go down that physician's track. But then I realized that like I wanted more of like the holistic care approach. And so then I looked at nursing, and then I started talking with some nurse practitioners, and I was like, that's what I want to do. So that's the goal, either critical care or psychiatry. So.
And I have no doubt in my mind that you are going to change the world.
Yeah.
I'll try.
Through all of those things, and wherever it is you feel God calling you.
And you're so smart. You're so smart. You can do so many things. You make me feel like, maybe I was supposed to just like maybe sweep streets or something.
You think so?
Maybe so.
Yeah. I mean, you could
No.
probably teach him about exegesis in a way that he doesn't know yet.
I doubt that. And I'm not going to try because he'll embarrass me. He'll be like, dude, that's not what Boot One said.
I learned that in confirmation in the 8th grade.
It's also another thing. I have pretty good memory. And so once I see something or hear something, it's up there. So be careful, guys.
Man, look, so I am so fascinated by just that dimension of you, how you're so multifaceted. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like that was a really great story. No one had told me about some of the experiences you've had in terms of your health.
Mm-hmm.
And my guess is that some of this depth comes out of that.
Oh, yeah.
So let's dig into your faith. So you wanted to share is this connected with your faith story?
Yeah. So I was always like, I grew up in a religious household. My dad's mom was heavily Catholic, and that made him pretty Catholic, but and my mom grew up religious too. And so I always grew up going to Sundays, like Sunday church, Wednesday's religious ed. Like I had my first communion in the Catholic church. And then, like I said, I transitioned to the Methodist Church around 4th grade. And so it really, like, it wasn't until middle school that I started thinking about, like, my faith journey. Like, I always just thought I was forced to be at church. And then I initially, after a while, I had to force my mom to take me to church because I just found such a welcoming and fascinating space in student ministries. Because basically any question I had, Todd or Taylor at the time, they would help me like figure out what was going on in my mind. And I was a little gremlin in middle school, I will say that. Like I gave them a run for their money. And I would never shut up, and they would always be trying to preach, and I would be like, actually, but
He was that kid.
yeah. So then my sister, she was in chorus, the church choir, and she was like, hey, I think you should come because like I love music. And so I started going to the choir here when Joyce was still running it. And I decided I was going to go on a mission trip to Louisville, Kentucky. And I was like, okay, this will be fun. Like my first mission trip alone from my parents, like 9 hours or so away. Like we're just going to go sing like to some old folks' homes or whatever. And so we drove all day. And then we performed at a elderly care center. And then we were really hungry. And so we went and ate at this Italian restaurant. And right after I finished eating, I was like, hey, I'm really, really dizzy. And so I stepped outside, and my church like mentor or senior leader, she stepped out with me with my sister, and I collapsed and went unconscious. And then I was transported to a hospital there. And they were like, oh, yeah, it was just a fluke accident, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's going to be okay. Nothing wrong with him. And so, anyways, I was freaked out. And so, like, the whole night I was just praying, like, oh, gosh, dear God, just, like, please keep me alive. Like, I thought I was just going to die, like, in my sleep or something. My parents drove all night to come pick me up and then drove me back. And then on our way back, my mom got a phone call from the chief cardiologist that just like clocked in and just reviewed my EKG. He was like, hey, you need to go see a cardiologist. Like, you have a congenital heart disorder and like you need surgery. And so once we got back in town.
And the first physicians didn't see that?
No, because it's classified as a rare congenital heart disorder. It's Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. And so basically my heart would beat like twice as fast as it should. And I thought that was normal. Like I thought everyone was just living in like a like environment. And then it wasn't until after my surgeries that I was like, oh, wow. And so anyways, once I was back in KC, I had a Holter monitor, cardiac monitor on me for a couple months. And then they're like, yeah, you need surgeries. And then so they did a cardiac ablation. And they found 6 extra electrical pathways in my heart that was basically short-circuiting my heart and making it beat really fast. And it wasn't until like a couple months after that I was like, that was a blessing in disguise. Like, if I wasn't there, where would I have been? Would I have been in the woods where no one was there to take care of me? And so I really started thinking about like everywhere in my life that something good happened to me when something bad could have happened. And so that's where like my faith journey really started. And so I started getting a lot more involved by like reading my Bible, listening to a lot more worship music, playing a lot more worship music on the drums. And just through that allowed me to completely change my mindset. Like, yes, my heart condition made me super anxious because my heart was beating so fast. But when I woke up, I felt like such a relief. It was just like insane. I was like, oh, so this is how life's supposed to be like. Wow. And like, I kept telling my mom, and she's like, yeah, like I wish you would have told me that. And I was like, well, this is how I thought it was. Right. And it was just a completely eye-opening experience because like, I thought I was just living normally. I thought I was just a little 7th grade kid that just like was like, oh. And like, I don't know, my whole perspective on life changed from that moment. I started looking more as an optimist instead of a pessimist. And like now I just try to find the good in everything, even though I don't always, but I try.
Nobody always. Yeah.
I mean, when 6th grade girls are screaming at you, I mean, it's hard to find the good, but you just got to remember you're here for a reason. So, anyways, I was blessed to come to this church to be able to find and work further to devote my faith. And just the staff here has been able to like answer any questions I've had. And I forgot to also mention that I'm the youth representative for the church. And so I love working with basically the whole church to figure out different ways to problem solve as a youth. Because I mean, a lot of like executive decisions are just made by like not the youth. And so I love being able to work in that position to be able to hopefully change the future's like perspective on church. Because I mean, like most of my friends at school, they're not religious, and like I've tried to invite them, and they're like, "No, that's not my thing. Like my parents won't let me." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "I think you should give it a shot. Like, why not? Like, doesn't hurt. What's the worst thing that can happen?" But anyways, like the community I found here is unparalleled to any relationship I've ever found. Like my friends and I were literally out in the church parking lot last night till 12:30, talking, just listening to music and just talking about life. Like it's insane what community I have found here compared to if I would have just stayed sedentary in my previous like relationship with God. So yeah.
Way cool.
Wow. It's always surprising to me. It shouldn't be surprising to me, but it is, to recognize that we all have these moments in life where we have a choice. And you were presented with that choice at such a young age. I mean, 7th grade. What 7th grader is having to think about life completely differently because of a health crisis? And you came out of that not bitter and angry, but flourishing. And that what an incredible gift. And to see also how the entire church has benefited from your presence, from your relationship with God, from youth to being a member of the church council, which is not normative in many churches. And because of you, we have this insight into what the church can become and needs to become if we're going to be relevant to a new generation. Yeah.
It, like I've said, I've been so blessed to come here and find my community here. Like my closest friends, they're all guys I found here. Like we hang out basically every night, if they're not with their girlfriends, but that's another story.
Priorities.
But I've been blessed, and like I'm leaving on Saturday for Costa Rica for the mission trip there. It'll be my 2nd year there, and last year, holy moly, it was life-changing. So, yeah.
How do you feel about leaving this community?
It's gonna be hard. I'm definitely gonna come back as much as I can to see everyone, and I mean, there's a couple churches down in Springfield that like I've seen and heard of things, and I'm interested to try. Like I think I'm gonna just dip my toes in every church around there and then find which one suits me best. And then I've also already like enrolled in STUMO, or like there's student ministries on campus. And so wherever that takes me, I couldn't tell you where it's gonna take me, but I'm here for it. Like that's one of the things that like after like my whole mindset changed, I just prefer to live in the moment. Like I don't want to worry about the future. I don't want to worry about the past. I mean, yeah, there's a time to do so, but right now is not the time.
Like, and living in the moment doesn't mean you don't plan. Right? I mean, you have plans. And
yeah, I live on my calendar. Like,
but living in the moments. Like planning, having a plan, being strategic, but when you're in a moment, being fully present. You're way too young to get to grasp that.
It was always funny. I think it was in 2nd or 3rd grade. My teacher at parent-teacher conferences, I was there, and she's like, Luke's way wiser than he should be, and he's way wiser than every other kid here. He's wise beyond his years. And my dad's like, I know. And my mom's like, okay. And but like I'm a third child, I'm the youngest, so like I grew up seeing all that happen, and like I definitely
That's beautiful self-reflection and
Yeah.
deference to your older siblings.
Yeah, I definitely give a lot of props to my parents, and I definitely should give more about their parenting style. Like, I'm really fascinated by psychology, and I like to evaluate them secretly. And I finally revealed this to my dad the other day about like his parenting style, and he was like, "Oh, so I did do it right." And I was like, "Yeah." And so like, I just really like, I don't know. I can't describe it in words how much church has changed me for the better. Wow. Because like I said, I was a gremlin in like 6th grade coming in here. Like, holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, your heart rate was twice as fast as it should have been, and that would have done something to a kid.
Yeah. No, I just felt like I was always like on Mountain Dew, like, and so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you immediately felt the difference.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was also like heavily medicated after surgery, but like once everything wore off, like I was like, this is nice. Like, this is the life.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it sucked that like I had this, but I mean, it completely changed my direction and opinions on life. So.
Wow. So Luke, do something. I'll put you on the spot just a little bit. Probably not you. This will put me on the spot, not you. Just take a moment and let's imagine you were all of a sudden before 1,000 kids your age, students your age, and you had the opportunity to give them 3 pieces of advice. Do you know what you would tell them? If it's only one thing, that's fine.
I mean, it's a lot more than 3. But let me narrow it down. I would definitely say live in the moment.
Wow.
No regrets.
Wow.
And devote yourself if you're wanting to do something, completely devote yourself.
Wow.
Don't just like go halfway in, and don't withdraw. Go all the way in, because you will be changed.
Wow.
So.
Well, we have been changed
Yes.
from your wisdom, your experience, your devotion.
And I've also forgot to mention how much you've impacted me through serving with me in student ministries.
Wow.
giving
your pastoral insight to the girls' small group. So,
I feel like most of the time I just sat there going, what?
No, she's
were
like
great
what
girls.
you said. When Angie, when she devotes herself to something, she devotes herself to it fully. That's very true. Wow.
Well,
you are
thank
such
you.
a fascinating and
Thank you.
wonderful young person. I can't wait to see what God's going to do with your life.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's going. I think we will all be astonished. As astonished as we are today, we can't even imagine what that's going to be. But I can't wait to see it. Hopefully I'll be around to see it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know,
Hopefully you're not looking up in a hospital bed.
Notice that he didn't want to say too old. The old. He says the not young people.
You did say that.
That's what. Yeah, I had to catch myself. So.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Old is fine.
Yeah. No, I was in church council the other day, and they were like, "Yeah, I can't remember what we were saying, but I was like, yeah, I really love this position because there's not young people, and like they're like there's not, but so there's old people, and I was like."
The not young people. I'll start using that. Like the not young people. Yeah.
No, yeah, because I mean, we were just talking right before we started filming about the generational gap of last week's sermon that we were blessed to hear.
Yeah, I'm grateful that you have helped us understand some of the lingo. You're bussing. No, that was bad, wasn't it? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I have gifts. That's not one of them.
That was sus.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes. Good job, my friend.
That's the closeout right there. That's it. I nailed it. Yes.
Yeah, we should have just ended it there. But how about instead of ending it there, we say, Luke, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, we've been working for 8 months trying to
get this, but you're so busy, you don't have time for us.
I mean,
Eventually you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glad you could work us in.
thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's been so fun.
And
I'm
thanks
so
for.
glad I got a chance to meet him
Yeah.
before he goes off to college too.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
Awesome. Thanks, Luke.
Thank you.